we feel that our problems are so big and we are not able to overcome, at that time Gita gives that knowledge, that wisdom, saying that Are Baba, you can do it. You have more power, more potency than the problem what you have, and you can come out of it.
Hey, I'm back finally after so many months. I'm so happy to restart my kanushreerudra channel with a Janmashtami special interview with an amazing personality by name Ramesh Ji. Let me give a brief introduction. Ramesh Ji is a chartered accountant, company secretary, and certified AML specialist living in Abu Dhabi with his family. He works in an international bank. He is a member of the management committee of CA chapter Abu Dhabi. He is a trustee of Vrajadenu Foundation, which takes care of abandoned cows in Vrindavan, Mathura district. He began his spiritual journey in 1994 while in college. He is a recipient of Gold Medal and Best Boy Award for Degree College. He is a college secretary for National Literacy Mission. So right now, Ramesh Ji, living in Abu Dhabi, he is studying, practicing the teachings of Gita and even spreading the message of Gita in that country. I welcome Ramesh Ji to my channel as the Janmashtami special guest. Namaste Ramesh Ji, happy Janmashtami. You are a chartered accountant connected with many companies, especially an international company in Abu Dhabi. And besides that, you're reading Gita, you're teaching Gita, you're practicing Gita. It's like a whole spiritual system, into your life. How are you doing all that? Can you please, say something about it?
So namaste and thank you Kanushri Ji for inviting me on your channel. It is my good fortune and sincerely I express my gratitude for that. So happy Janmashtami to you and all our viewers. So as you have asked the question, so I would like to say that actually it's not that I am the one who is doing everything. There is a force, there is a hand of God which actually does many things through us. So yes, it is true. By profession, I am a chartered accountant. I work in an international bank and I have a lot of professional and family responsibilities. I have my wonderful family with me also. But along with that, I just try to do little seva in assisting, the congregation about teaching of Bhagavad Gita, spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita, because that's very, very important, what I feel. And practice of Bhagavad Gita doesn't depend upon any time, place or circumstances. We can actually practice anywhere, anytime, because Bhagavad Gita mainly deals with our life and it's life's manual. So till the time there is a life, Bhagavad Gita will be very relevant, very useful. And I just try to devote whatever time I get after my professional and family duties to engage in spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita. Indeed, my whole family is very supportive and they also help me, support me in spreading the message of the God. Without them, obviously, I can't imagine, doing it alone. So the best part is the whole family is equally involved as I am. So my mother, my wife, my daughter and my son, all of them, they are into it. So when we do the program, they do kirtan. My wife manages prasadam. I give class. So like this, as a whole unit, we are just trying to spread the message of Godhead wherever we can in our professional circle, in our with our colleagues and with other like-minded people.
Ramesh Ji, when did you come in contact with Gita for the first time in your life? Did you already have Gita at home or how is it?
Yeah, so when you talk about coming in contact in my life with first time, and as you said, I actually had Bhagavad Gita at home, But as most of the Indian family, you will see that they have Bhagavad Gita at home, but generally Bhagavad Gita is wrapped in one red cloth and kept in the altar or near the altar, or sometimes far away from this. You just offer your respectful obeisances, you pay respect, but generally hardly somebody actually opens it and reads it. So same situation was with me also. But while I was studying in the college, somebody came and he spoke about Bhagavad Gita. He spoke about life and how Bhagavad Gita is very important in our life. And then I was invited in the temple, Chapati temple, on the same day of Janmashtami, where I met another person who was also a professional. So he showed me Bhagavad Gita. He was distributing book, and he told that you should actually buy this Bhagavad Gita because there is a nice purport and interpretation which is given by Srila Prabhupada, and it will be very, very useful for you. And he very briefly he explained me the importance of Bhagavad Gita. So that was the time that I actually came in contact with Bhagavad Gita, I can say. And that little interest, because I brought the book home, I started reading it. But more than reading, I also started associating with like-minded people who are already practicing spirituality. And finally, when I saw in the temple that there were like few foreigners who were chanting the sloka of Bhagavad Gita, they were pronouncing Sanskrit verses, that actually really attracted me. And I thought that I'm an Indian Hindu, Sanatani, it's actually in my blood, but I'm not doing what they are doing. And that actually gave some kind of serious interest in studying Bhagavad Gita.
Amazing. So at that time when you got the Gita, was it just like a book, or you actually tried to learn something from it? Like you said, you brought back the Gita home and you started reading. Just I'm asking, like, when you received the Gita, so how was that feeling?
On a Janmashtami day, we went to the temple and somebody offered to buy it. I actually bought it, and initially it was like any other holy religious book for me. I brought, but the person who actually gave me the book also explained briefly the importance of it. So at that time when I brought the book was also similarly lying in my shelf. But slowly I started reading it, and then it was not the same book what I thought it was actually. And then slowly started reading Bhagavad Gita. And also, as I told you, when I started meeting with the like-minded people who were already practicing spirituality, and I saw that there were many who were really big in the society, like somebody was professional, somebody was a businessman, some industrialist also, from different walks of life, and they were all highly very educated, and logically they were presenting things, and everybody would say that this is from Bhagavad Gita. So that actually kind of gave me an impetus to read Bhagavad Gita. And obviously then it didn't remain just like a book, it became like a companion, and I started reading it slowly.
Amazing. So can you please share with me 3 most significant learnings from the Gita, and how these learnings have transformed your life?
Yes. So as I may say that because I have been like associating with Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita since long time now, and definitely whenever you read Bhagavad Gita, you get some kind of learning out of it, and different time you get different learnings. So the meaning is that whenever you read Bhagavad Gita, you will get something new, and then second time when you read, you will get something new, so there is actually a lot of wonderful learning which is there in Bhagavad Gita. But since the time I have kind of read or heard Bhagavad Gita and understood it, I will say that one of the most significant teaching or learning which is there in Bhagavad Gita is that we can perceive the presence of God, the presence of divinity everywhere, in everyone and in everything. So like I sometimes say that we see the hand of God in everything and everything in God's hand. So it is there actually. So it's very, very important. It's not that, the God is there only in the temple. Yeah, he is there definitely, but he is outside also. जैसा कि हम हिंदी में कहते हैं कि कण कण में भगवान है, that the Lord is there everywhere, but sometimes we are not able to perceive. But when you actually read Bhagavad Gita and sincerely try to understand, then we can see the presence of God everywhere. Like, for example, just to give an example, that Arjuna also asked this question to Krishna, that how do I see you, how do I perceive you? And Krishna says that, do you drink water? Arjuna says yes. Then Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, that I am the taste of that water. So the taste in the water, obviously nobody can generate in the factory. It is provided by the Lord. So when we drink the water, we can remember Lord, we can see Lord, we can perceive Lord. Or similarly, he may ask that, do you see the sun and the moon? Yes. So I am that luminosity. I am that light in the sun and the moon. So whenever we look at sun or the moon, now we understand that, oh, God is there actually. So that's one very significant learning from Bhagavad Gita. The second learning, I would say, is that Krishna speaks one very nice verse to Arjuna. He says that matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhada. He says that, oh Arjun, you try to be equipoised. You try to tolerate both happiness and distress, because both happiness and distress are temporary. They arise in our life as the summer and winter season comes and goes. So one should not get agitated or disturbed by this. And that's so true in life, that we see that sometimes, happiness comes in our life, we become so much, elated. And then, soon some distress come in our life and we go so much low in our life. So one needs to understand that actually this will pass on, so happiness will also come in our life. We must perform our duty. That's what Krishna tells Arjuna, that you perform your duty whether, whatever happens. So these are like, very, very important, significant learning which we can learn from Bhagavad Gita as well as apply in our life, so that, we understand life from a proper perspective.
And how have these teachings transformed you, Ramesh Ji?
Yes, that's important question also. It has really transformed, and I would say this transformation is not like overnight. It is very gradual, very slowly, but definitely it has transformed my life. Because if I compare myself what I was, when I actually came in contact with Bhagavad Gita at that time when I was in college, so it's like almost 3 decades now. So before that, how I was, how was my surrounding, I had different kind of friends, and then, even my nature was very, very different. Sometimes, I would not behave, in a very sane way. I would say that sometimes, I will become, depressed, or like, for example, suppose something doesn't go good in the office, or something has not happened positively, then I'll bring that emotions also at home, and seeing my face, sometimes, the others will also get depressed, because, anything which has gone not according to my desire, I will become low. Or sometimes, I will get something and I will become too happy and not even give, attention to the surroundings. So now this thing actually doesn't affect that much. I won't say that it won't affect me, but it is not the proportion of the effect is not that much. That sometimes even if some things go wrong, like I would say by Krishna's mercy, sometimes many things have gone wrong in life also, but now I am able to absorb it, or at least I know theoretically and practically that how you should deal with it actually. So that change has come in life, that earlier I used to like work, or meaning just react, but now the answer I'll say is like response. So rather than just reacting immediately, I understand the situation and I see, try to see God's hand in that, and then I understand that ultimately whatever happens for good only, and I should wait, and sometimes I will get answer in future. So like there are many changes which has taken in my life, but it is all very gradual, very slowly, and I have come a very long way, thanks to Bhagavad Gita.
Wow, incredible transformation. Listening to you, I feel like, beginning this journey with Gita and transform my life also. I also want to bring in that positivity within me and, go beyond the dualities. Thank you so much, Ramesh Ji. I have this question for you. Managing the dualities is one thing, few learnings you said. Now, do you believe in everything that is said in Bhagavad Gita? Because I have come across people who don't even know the existence of Gita. So, and what to speak of to be, to develop that belief system, based on Gita. So, what do you have to say about it?
Very nice question. And my answer straightforward is yes, absolutely, and without any doubt. Why I say like this is because, as I told, that long journey, that I have undertaken. So Bhagavad Gita is the absolute truth. And what is the definition of absolute truth? The absolute truth is that which doesn't change depending upon time, place, or circumstances. It remains absolutely, correct or perfect, or I would say true, and without any other, situation. So whatever is true, say now, was true earlier also and will remain true in future also. So whatever true was, truth in the past is also the truth in the present, and it will remain truth in the future as well. So, like for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, "A Brahma Bhunar Loka Punaravartino Arjuna, Mamu Petya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate." So he says that, starting from the topmost planet in the planetary system to down to the lowest planet, there is actually birth, old age, disease, and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukha, Doshanu, Darshanam. So he says that there is birth, there is old age, there is disease, and death. So these are like basically the real problem of anybody, humans or non-humans actually, and that goes on. And we see that people were taking birth in Satyuga also, in Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, same happens in Kali Yuga also. People were getting old in other yugas, they are getting old now also. Or if you want to compare, like for example, the same situation happens with everybody, in whether you are in, say, Bharat, or whether you are in America, or you are in, any other Gulf country. These things are going to happen. So there is a birth, then there is a disease, there is old age, and then there is a death, which actually happens with everybody. So therefore it's called absolute truth. And similarly, whatever written in Bhagavad Gita, there are many aspects. Like Bhagavad Gita speaks primarily about the difference between body and the soul. That's also truth. Nobody can deny it actually. So whatever is written in Bhagavad Gita is completely perfect, and therefore I believe it. And there are so many examples which we can quote and tell that yes, this is what basically the teachings of Bhagavad Gita is applicable to everybody. And it is not a religious book, in one sense. Like for example, the life's journey, what Bhagavad Gita teaches happens with all kind of nationalities, all kind of religion and everything. So this is basically a book of life.
Wow. Ramesh Ji, you brought up so many interesting points in this, in your answer, especially this birth, disease, old age, and death.
Your voice is not audible. Can you check your audio? No. Can you speak now?
Haribol?
Now I can hear.
You can hear?
I can hear.
Okay.
Yes.
Ramesh Ji, thank you so much. You have brought out, so many interesting points in your answer, to that question. You were talking about birth, disease, old age, and death. This is what I heard. And people now in this age, they are trying to remain youthful for their whole life and beyond. And there are people trying to clone themselves, not to go through the process of death, and trying to cover up the skin, to make it look youthful externally, at least with the plastic surgery, whatnot. So from your answer, I can understand that these are like things which nobody can change ever.
Yes.
With what, how much ever technology they might, they might work on and improve the technological aspects. I think still, as per your, answer, I don't think they can bring about any change in
Yeah.
birth, disease, old age, and death. Oh, thank you so much. This
This
is
answer
like,
is based on Bhagavad Gita, and I'll just say, like for example, the principle of say Jara. So Jara is basically old age. So the whole cosmetic industry, functions on this principle that everyone wants to apply so many cosmetic on their body and still look youthful, look into their youth. But anyway, it is not going to help. A time will come that the person will actually become old. Or the whole medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry is working on the principle of vyadhi, which is like disease. So new invention of the medicine happens and new disease also comes. So this is going to remain in this world. You cannot eradicate. Obviously you cannot eradicate birth, you cannot eradicate death, as they say, as sure as death. So like somebody asked one great saintly personality, Srila Prabhupada, and asked that, Swamiji, why the death rate in India are increasing? And Prabhupada said that as far as the death rates are concerned, it is same everywhere in the whole world, which is 100%. That means anybody who has taken birth is going to die. So this is basically, it's like truth. Bhagavad Gita speaks about it.
wow, super powerful, super powerful. Now, now you have already, you're in the journey with Gita, right? Now, if I say, take out that Gita from your life, minus Gita from your life, uh, can you imagine that kind of a life?
Absolutely not. Indeed, nobody can take out Gita from the life, because it's not that it's something outside and somebody can snatch it. It is actually there inside. But as I understand, the mood of the question is that that I cannot imagine my life without Bhagavad Gita. Like it is, Bhagavad Gita is actually the part and parcel of the life. And as I told, that it is actually life's manual. So like when we buy any gadget for that matter, whether it is mobile, it is watch, it is laptop, it is washing machine, or anything for that matter, any kitchen appliances, you get a manual along with it, how to operate. So when we have a body, we have a life, a life's manual is given, which is Bhagavad Gita, how to operate our life. And life is actually, I would say that it is like a war, and the war is within. The battle is within. So we need to also, win that battle, win that war. Like Arjun had two war to fight. He had an external war where he had to fight with Duryodhan and his team, and there was an internal war which is going on. So in most of our cases, we might not have that external war where we have to take out the sword or fight with somebody, but internal war is definitely there, and we are faced with challenges, we are faced with difficulties, we are faced in our life where we are not very clear in taking the decisions in life, and Gita gives that clarity. When we are confused, Gita enlightens us to remove that confusion from our life. When we are in the crossroad of our life where we don't know what decision to be taken, then Gita actually gives you the path, that what to choose, what not to choose. Like Arjun was very confused, and Krishna actually, he gave him all the knowledge which made him that much again the person with confidence that he could take his own decision. So therefore, I'm just saying that Gita is part and parcel of life. Nobody can take it. I cannot even imagine my life without Bhagavad Gita, because having understood this knowledge, whether you read or you don't read, you are still there with it. So it is actually, built-in system now. So like body is like a hardware, and the knowledge of Gita is software.
You
So I was
can't
just saying,
settle for anything lower than Gita, right?
definitely, we will not trade for anything that.
Nice, nice. So, Ramesh Ji, how are you applying the teachings of Gita in your professional life? Maybe if you quote one example, that would do.
Okay, perfect. So basically, see, application of Bhagavad Gita is in our life, whether it is personal life or professional life. The Bhagavad Gita helps in relationships, Bhagavad Gita helps in friendship, Bhagavad Gita helps in every walk of our life, including the professional life. So how do you actually apply Bhagavad Gita in the professional life? Is that, when we are working professionally, obviously, there are obvious expectation which is there. Like for example, a person works for the salary, then he is, also, like desiring to have some bonus or promotion, and at least some status in the market, or probably some big designation and all those things. And many times we do get that, and sometimes we don't. So it's not that you may be highly qualified, but sometimes circumstances are not in your favor. Okay, so sometimes you will get some profit, sometimes you will get some loss. Like for example, if somebody is doing business, it's not necessary that every time he will get profit. Sometimes he will get loss also. So he need to bear the loss. Like I was just hearing somebody on somebody had sent on the WhatsApp, where he said, he was speaking about, I think, share market, where he said that you should learn to cut down on the losses. So sometimes we keep, and then you get more losses. So you need to understand. So how do I apply? Personally, I will tell you, because Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that sukhe dukhe samay kritva labha labho jaya jayo. So he says that one should try to be a sane person, or equipoised, whether it is too much happiness, too much of distress, too much profit, or too much of loss. One should try to be equipoised. So suppose sometimes if there is some profit which happens in my life, in my professional life, I am okay. I just give my gratitude to Lord, that thank you so much for giving me this. And sometimes when I don't get it, I don't get too much distressed or depressed, though I didn't get it, what will happen now, or something like that. Okay, let me just quote very practical and real, sincere, honest example with you. Once it happened in my life that for no reason, I lost my job, because there was a management decision by the company that 10% of the employees we need to remove in the name of cost cutting and all those things. Unfortunately, some people from some department where they lost their job. So some of my colleagues who were actually with me, because we all lost our job without any reason, so there was no performance reason or some other reason, nothing. It was a management decision, which many companies do nowadays. They try to cut down on cost and things like that. So some of my colleagues were actually crying, and because some of them, we had a family kind of a relationship. Their wife actually, one of my colleagues' wife was telling me that, oh, I am actually devotee of the God, and I'm doing something. We never actually did wrong with anybody. Why God did this to us? Why God that? Started crying, and this was kind of a reaction. And obviously I was also very sad, because first time it happened in my life also, that. But I was just thinking that why Krishna would have done this. Probably there will be something good in the store. And I thought that job hi gaya hai na, jaan to nahi gayi hai. That Krishna has not taken my life. So maybe I will get another one. Sometimes, and Krishna brings you back sometimes to take you forward. And then I understood that whatever happened for good only. After couple of years now, I can understand. So I actually tried to keep my sanity at that time. Otherwise, I would have disturbed myself. I would have disturbed my family also too much, because it was not an easy thing, to take. So just to give an example, because there was a support of Bhagavad Gita, there was a support from like-minded spiritual people who actually guided, who also. So that's very, very important in our life, that Gita gives you that direction where you can understand and take the turbulation and absorb in our life.
Wow, great lesson. My God, thank you so much for that, Ramesh Ji. Now I want to ask you. You live in Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
How easy or difficult it is for you to practice Gita's teachings? In India, the book was, the whole Gita was taught by Krishna in India only. So in India,
Correct.
it's very easy. But how about Abu Dhabi, where you live in?
Yeah, see, practicing of Gita is not an external show off, or it doesn't, as I told earlier, it doesn't depend upon the time or place or circumstances. You can practice Gita anywhere. You may live in the Alaska and there also you can practice Bhagavad Gita. You can live in Himalayas and you can practice Bhagavad Gita. So Gita is the science of the soul. It talks about the difference between body and the soul. It talks about our life, how we actually carry on in our life, and whatever happens in our life, we can actually take guidance and enlightenment from the Bhagavad Gita. So there is absolutely, I would like to say that the place is not a hindrance. And indeed, if I tell you something very which you might not be even aware, that here in this country we have over 200 nationalities which live in this country, and we all live very happily, very in harmony, with cooperation. And UAE basically gives too much of importance to harmony, cooperation, tolerance and happiness of the people. And this is the only country where they have a unique ministry which is not there in any part of the world, which is called Ministry of Tolerance and Coexistence. So where everyone is allowed to live peacefully and practice their own faith in their own way. Obviously there are some obvious restrictions on the preaching side of it and all, but the place is very, very benevolent and very, very happy place. The royal family and the rulers are so benevolent that they have allowed every religion to practice in their own way. And as far as our side is concerned, they actually have given us a huge land which runs into like acres and acres of it, where a very huge, large, a magnificent Hindu temple is going to come up, and it is already under the construction. I would say that only the parking space which is allocated by the temple runs into 27 acres of land. And this is going to come up in the month of February 2024. It is already in place, and I have been very fortunate to go and visit. So everybody in this part of the world is so happy and profusely giving I would say blessings and prayers for the leadership here, that they have allowed such a huge, large magnificent temple to come up, where everybody can go and actually practice their own faith. We have smaller other temples and churches and Gurudwara. There is one of the largest Gurudwara also is there in here in this country. So practicing is actually not at all difficult. It's very easy. And I know many of my friends who are from different faith also, they also believe in Bhagavad Gita, and they also live life which is actually written in all the holy book. So ultimately there is one message which is given by all the holy book, whether it is Quran, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, whether it is Guru Granth Sahib, whether it is Bible, that we need to love our fellow citizen, our neighbors, and we understand from all these scriptures that God is our father, and if we all are God's children, then in order to love the Father, we need to learn to love our brother and sisters also. So ultimately, we are all connected, with one root. We call it by different names and different designations, but it is the same personality, who is actually in all of our life.
Wow, amazing place. First time, certainly it's the first time that I'm hearing, about Abu Dhabi. Great. Ramesh Ji, now, Gita is easy to be, easy to practice in your place, and Gita's teachings are universal. All these things, we heard it. Now, in this machine age where things are getting automated, almost everything, like 60% of our life is like now on automation. Now, where people are advancing towards, becoming machinized, right? So in this age, is Gita necessary for human life? Because people are already getting comfortable.
Yes, good question. And I would say that whether it is machine age or whether it is stone age, Gita is relevant. And as I said, it was relevant, it is relevant, and it will be relevant. So relevancy of the Gita cannot be, denied. And we need to find our voice and not get drowned in all the noises, which is around us, which probably, machine is making or whatever. And autopilot doesn't work in life's journey. We need to fly our own plane. So that's one very, very important. Unfortunately, because of this automation and because of this robotics and all those things, we think that like I would say that it is actually an irony that all these gadgets were developed to save time of the humans, but unfortunately we don't have any time now. No time is a chronic disease of a common man. If you ask somebody, you say, I don't have time. Even the small children, they say that we don't have time, because I don't know where the time is passing by. And earlier age, when there was no automation, where there was no so much of machines and all this around us, people had all the times. They will discuss so many things, and sometimes it will look like that they are killing the time. But now we don't have time. So unfortunately, we need to understand that as we get succumbed by this material energy more and more, there is a more need to understand this knowledge and this wisdom of the Vedas, so therefore I say that actually Bhagavad Gita, for that matter, is not a religious book. It is actually meant for life, and till the time life is there, Bhagavad Gita is relevant to us. It actually gives us guidance, and it removes our confusion in our life. And whatever technological advancement we may make, there will be time in our life where we will get confusion, where we will get some kind of heartbreaks, where we will get some kind of relationship issues, we will get some kind of I would say distress or in our life. And at that time Gita will help us to come out of it. Like for example, when Arjuna, he was totally confused, he was totally depressed, he said, I am not going to fight. At that time the knowledge of Gita came for his rescue. So that's very, very important. And the bigger the advancement what we are making in the material energy, the bigger problem we are actually encountering. So it's not that earlier, we have so many problems now. Now people are actually dying at very early age, and so much of disease are happening even in the small children. We had not imagined a person of like 15 years getting cancer or heart attack, but that's happening now. So much of problems have come up, inflicted upon us. And sometimes when we feel that our problems are so big and we are not able to overcome, at that time Gita gives that knowledge, that wisdom, saying that Are Baba, you can do it. You have more power, more potency than the problem what you have, and you can come out of it. So that's how Arjuna came out, after Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him.
Amazing. Ramesh Ji, what a profound insight you have given Thank you for that. So now, if I ask you to pick one most important teaching from the Gita, what would that be?
Difficult question because there are many important teachings from Bhagavad Gita. But if you ask me to just choose one, because there are many favorites of me. So Krishna tells Arjun, Tasmat sarveshu kalesu mam anushmara yuddhacha. He says that, oh Arjun, you do all your duty and remember me. So what Krishna wants is, he says that you remember me and at the same time you keep doing your duty. So why is that important? Why Krishna is saying like this? Because that's the essence of the life. Whatever we do, indeed in all our scriptures, the ultimate conclusion of the scriptures is that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So whatever we do, whatever different kind of activities, rituals which we do, the whole purpose of this is to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And Krishna tells this principle in Bhagavad Gita that whoever remembers him at the end of the life, he will go back to Krishna. And that's what we need to do. From where we have come, we have to go back to Krishna's abode, to Krishna's wonderful dham. And that's the reason that he comes in this world, to attract us back to his abode. And that's possible to do because like I had done one time one drama called Me and My Mind. It was like a pantomime show. So the mind keeps disturbing the person in whatever he is doing, and then actually mind comes under his control. So once the mind becomes his friend, then whatever activity he is doing, the mind is behind chanting. His mind is engaged in the positive thought. Otherwise, as I told, that mind is the greatest enemy if it is not controlled, and if it is controlled, it is one of the best friend. And that's the teaching which is very, very important. And personally, it appeals to me so much that whatever we may be doing, like Krishna says that yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhosi tathasi yat, that you do whatever you want to do, you do your prescribed duty, which is very important to do, and simultaneously at the same time you keep remembering Krishna. So that's one of the most important teaching what I can perceive.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing that point of remembering Krishna, God, constantly, in our minds, which is the most distracted, part of our existence, right? So now, Ramesh Ji, what would be your one valuable advice for my viewers on this auspicious Janmashtami day?
Yeah, today is the most auspicious day, Janmashtami, the divine appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. And as we go to anybody's birthday, we generally give gift. We take gift for them. So for Lord Krishna also, we should have some gift, on his appearance day, on his birthday. So what I would say, that we can give the gift to Krishna, and we should generally give the gift to somebody as he likes it. So like, for example, if some close friend is there, then we know what is his liking or her liking, and accordingly we give gift. And if you don't understand anything, nowadays people just keep some money in the envelope and give, saying that okay, he will take. But if you are a good friend, you know the likings, what that person will like. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita actually says this very significant verse where he says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. So he says that Janma karma cha me divyam. He says that my birth, my appearance and my activities are divine. They are ordinary, but they are divine. And yo mam veti tatvatah. That means he says that one who understands this in essence, in truth, with tattva, that's very important. So what we need to do, we need to understand the activity of Lord Sri Krishna in truth. And how can we do that? By reading Bhagavad Gita. So what I would, in essence, I would say that on this day, if you are already reading Bhagavad Gita, then it is most wonderful. But if you are not, then from today onwards, you can start reading Bhagavad Gita, and that will be the best gift which we can give to Lord Sri Krishna on his birthday. So please pick up a Bhagavad Gita, start reading it, and as it is said that one shloka a day keeps the shoka away. That means if we read one verse a day, all the distress will be gone. So that's very, very important.
Nice.
And second, one more additional thing, if I can say, that Krishna also likes if we take his name. So if we chant mantra, so mantra is something by which we can control our mind. Manah trayate iti mantra. So along with reading Bhagavad Gita, if we chant also Lord's name, that will be the best, because in this world, the most important and the conclusion of the Shastra is that we should do Shravan and Kirtan. There should be reading as well as there should be chanting the name of the Lord, and that will be the best gift. And that's my small message to all our audience, all our viewers today.
Thank you, Ramesh Ji. And how much ever thanks I offer to you, it's very less, because the message, the amazing message, the valuable message you have given us, from the Gita, it's incredible. Thank you again. Happy Janmashtami.
Happy Janmashtami. And I would just also like to say one more thing, which is also very dear to my heart, is that this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, this spiritual knowledge is very, very important in our life. We may be highly educated, we may be a fully accomplished person in our life, but this is very important message which we can understand from the life of Arjuna. Like Arjuna got best of the family education from Bhishma Pitama, and he got best of the formal education from Dronacharya. It was like studying in the Harvard University of that time. But with this both family as well as formal education, which was the best in case of Arjuna, and he himself was a very powerful warrior. He was a self-controlled, self-disciplined man. But both this education didn't come to his rescue when he needed it the most in life. So when he got confused, when he was about to fight the greatest war in this world, at that time he actually broke out. He gave up. And at that time, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita helped Arjuna. Krishna came as a motivational speaker for him. He came as a mentor who actually guided him and gave him the complete knowledge and gave him complete freedom. Because Krishna says that I have explained you everything. Now you do and you choose it, whatever you want. And then Arjuna, by understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Nashtu moha smritir labdhva. He says that I have got back my intelligence and I will do, what is required. So when the formal education as well as family education might not help us in our life, the education of Bhagavad Gita will help us. And therefore Krishna tells that this is Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam. Raj Vidya means it is king of education. So we should always apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in our life and get really, in true essence, educated in our life. Thank you once again. Happy Janmashtami to everybody.